teams play. How important is John in a game like this? What has he done for the program special teams wise?
Yeah, I think, obviously every game special teams is a huge part of it. And, not just the big momentum plays that everyone sees or talks about, but there's a lot of hidden plays within a game, just change of field position and those sorts of things that always play big.
Talk about their offense and the challenges it presents.
They've got great athletes at all positions. They're a cohesive unit. The same starters have really been playing all year long. They've been able to stay healthy. So there's dangerous guys with the ball in their hand, and they do a great job as coaches of getting those guys the ball in their hands and trying to get it to them in space. And so it's a really tough team to prepare for.
Are you able to use the film against Michigan State, or was the weather such a changing factor that you throw that tape out?
Yeah, we evaluate all the games, and we watch, try and get a handle on everything they've done throughout the season, including the Michigan State game, understanding that, weather obviously probably affected or played a part in that somehow. So, it's just as most teams do, you sit there and evaluate the whole season and look at things situationally and what they're trying to do.
There's some reports this morning you had interviewed for the Maryland job. Is it a job you're interested in?
It's this week is so important to our guys. My 100% focus is on this game and our players, and that's what this profession is all about. You got to make sure that you're taking care of your job and the job you have week in and week out, because it's a tough task, especially with this team this week.
But it's a natural progression. You're a defensive coordinator. Next step would be head coach. Is it something that you would like to do before you're 40? I mean, do you have a goal set?
No, my goal is to get the best game plan possible together for Ohio State and have our guys go play well.
So, did you go interview for the job?
Again, I to answer rumors and speculation right now, just and then put something to it. My total focus 100% is on Ohio State and nothing else this week.
Tackling is always important, but talk about when it comes to Zeke Elliott, making sure that you get him down and not give up the big play in the run game.
Right. Zeke obviously is a great player, and he's got a lot of big runs throughout his career. We got to get 11 guys the ball and rally, because he can certainly make a guy miss. And the key to that is on defense, if you got a bunch of guys running the ball, some of those missed tackles don't show up.
DJ, going back to John a little bit, and I'm thinking in the Northwestern game when you returned the opening kickoff, how big is that, for, I guess, a defense? Do you feel like, okay, now we got a little bit of padding going on here, or how do you view that?
Yeah, I don't think it changes your approach at all on defense or what you're trying to do or play, but obviously it's a huge momentum thing for the entire team. Those are special teams. That's where a lot of big momentum plays occur, and throughout the course of a game, there's momentum swings back and forth, and certainly you want more of those in your favor than the other way, and that you can get them a lot in the kicking game.
Not to compare him head to head with other special teams coordinators that you've worked with, but just what has it been like working with him, his attitude-wise, his day-to-day?
Yeah, he's great. He's one of the best out there. He's been doing it for a long time. He's got a great way of teaching the players. He's a unique teacher. I think that's one of the best things he does. He really understands. He has a great understanding of the game. He's seen a lot. When you've done it for that long, you've been through a lot. You've seen a lot, and he's got really good answers for things.
You mentioned evaluating their whole season in terms of film. Is it more difficult knowing that they didn't have their starting quarterback in there for a lot of those games?
Yeah, I think offensively they do what they do. There's obviously some differences based on the two quarterbacks, and but they do what they do, and we got to be ready for both of them too. Those guys have both appeared in most games, and so and they're both great players, and they present different problems to a defense, and so we have to be ready for both.
You grew up in Youngstown. You grew up watching the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry, I would imagine. You would have been old enough to watch Jim's 86 guarantee game, right?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I do. And yeah, just growing up in this part of the country. Obviously this is a rivalry I think that carries over throughout the entire country, but especially in the Midwest and growing up in this part of the country. This is the game everyone, no matter what you're doing, everyone's watching this game on Saturday.
You were an Ohio State fan?
I was not an Ohio State fan growing up.
You've been involved in a lot of different rivalry games and whatnot. What does it mean to be a part of that, going through that week preparing for it first off?
Yeah, I think obviously there's just a different feel to it. I mean, anyone, to just the feel, the players understand that obviously with the fans and the people around the program, it's different for them. But, the key to me is your preparation stays the same. I mean, you got to do what we do on a Wednesday, on a Tuesday, and keep that the same, and just be locked in that way, and not let everything else distract you from it.
And what about like the seniors as well? You think about they're going through their final week leading up to a big rivalry game. How do you see kind of them maybe elevate themselves a little bit or get a little emotional?
Yeah, I mean, seniors are always, they have a little more urgency about them because they see the light at the end of the tunnel. The whole challenge for seniors is then to pass that feeling on to the underclassmen, be great leaders, and have other guys prepare and play with that same type of urgency that you as a senior have.
How has Urban Meyer impacted your coaching career and the stops you've had with him?
Yeah, I mean, he's been great guy to learn from, work with. Obviously, his success speaks for itself, and yeah, I mean, he does a great job. I learned a lot from him.
Is there something that you learned from Urban with your time with him that you still use today?
As a coach, you kind of take bits and pieces from everyone you work for or work with. I mean, it's kind of part of it. We all learn from each other, and then you kind of stamp your own personality on it. And so, absolutely. I mean, there's things from I've been very fortunate in my career to work for a lot of great head coaches, and number one, Coach Harbaugh. There's things I learn from him every single day. And so that's part of coaching, the evolution of a coach, and as you grow.
And to follow up on what Angelique asked, being a Youngstown guy, when you worked with Jim previously, Urban previously, did you talk about this game at all, maybe what it meant to y'all?
No conversation I can directly remember about this specific game, but again, I think everyone understands the magnitude of it, the importance of it, and I'm sure both teams and coaches will be ready to go.